I'm back. Yes, it's been a little longer this time, but here we are already at Labor Day. Wow. And yes, we're celebrating and honoring all who work, all who give service for pay and whatever they do. And as we look around, we see the manifestations just in our own daily basic lives for our food, for our clothes, for our shelter, all the people that were involved in every detail of all of those. And of course, not to mention our cars and computers and other things that we use in our daily lives. There is continuous work, labor going on for all of that. And as we look back, we see that, of course, labor is a long history because people had to survive, and animals too. So, and in our current time or any time, many of people had jobs or labor in which they did what they love and loved what they did, and still do. And not everybody is as fortunate to have their right livelihood or fulfilling purposes and getting paid for them. And sometimes they find themselves in what they call soul-sucking jobs. Sometimes what is even sadder is that we have people in sweatshops and in conditions that are really unhealthy and non-supportive to them, and yet that this is what they're doing to just barely survive. And even though most of us make the most of whatever situations we're in, everybody has a right to have at least some support. I saw on a documentary that Dale Carnegie and other captains of industry subjected their workers to unbearable conditions and in the steel mills, and they would have them work for 12 hours non-stop, and many people collapsed and died right there in the steel mills. And I'm thinking, well, there's Carnegie Hall, and he's this big person that we think about in history, but look at what he did. And that's what we have to understand, is none of that is acceptable. Everyone has a right to a safe, supportive, and balanced work environment for pay worldwide. And we honor those people who fight for the rights and of equal treatment for all, because the greed of the few has caused the suffering of the masses. And I call upon those who are coming from greed to replace that with empowerment and dignity for all. Even if we find ourselves in work that we're maybe overqualified for, that used to happen to my dad, and we can't get the work that is best suited for us or most fulfilling for us, we do our best and make the most of it until we find ourselves in our right livelihood. It is unfair for people to have a sense of entitlement to anybody's intellectual property or to our anything that we are and to expect that anybody who is gifted with music or art or creativity or spirituality of any kind, healing, to expect any of us to be in a day job and defer our God-designed purpose for why we're here in this lifetime. That is not okay. And I remember being at an ASCAP membership meeting. Well, what's ASCAP, right? American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. Yes, I am a proud member. It's a performing rights organization. And Paul Williams, who is a famous film composer, who was the president at that time, he would speak up there very passionately, and he would say, when he'd talk about people's entitlement to our music, "Oh yes, I have a word for that. Let's see. Now, what is it? Oh yeah, BS." And he was passionate, and everybody would stand up and applaud him, and he's right. So anyway, it is everybody's right to receive fair pay for services, the God-given gifts and talents that they were brought to this world to give. And when we are fulfilling our purpose, we radiate joy and others radiate back. And it's an upward, uplifting experience. And when people are out of alignment with their purpose, we suffer, and that radiates out as well. So then it brings everybody down. So let's continue our celebration and make sure that we continue to celebrate and honor everybody for the gifts that they were given and the quality of work and life that we were given to really make the best of our time here on earth. Thank you again, and I love you, and just know that we are all loved.